Have you ever wondered what separates the people who just talk about their dreams from the people who actually build them? What makes some people rise under pressure while others collapse? It's a pattern. A simple, powerful pattern I call the discipline loop. If you can master this loop, you essentially eliminate 90% of the reasons people fail. You'll stop being someone with high potential and transform into a high-output person who gets things done. Let's break down how it works. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with a decision. And I'm not talking about a half-hearted idea or a dream you mention when you re-feeling motivated. I mean a real, ironclad decision. The kind that cuts off every other possibility. Most people float through life. They say they want success, but they always leave the back door open for an escape. A true decision slams that door shut. It's a declaration. This is what I am doing. There is no alternative. When you choose your target with that level of absolute clarity, your entire world shifts. Your brain starts to filter out distractions. Your actions begin to align with your goal, almost automatically. Your internal compass, which was spinning wildly, finally points north. Once you've made that decision, the next step is commitment. People often mistake commitment for an emotion, like excitement or passion. It's not. Commitment is a logical process. It's the moment you bind yourself to the journey, not just the outcome. It's you versus the weaker version of yourself, and you deliberately choose the self that honors the goal. Commitment means you show up after a terrible day at work. You show up after a bad night's sleep. You show up after a loss, and you show up after a win. You show up when you're being ignored, when you're being doubted, and especially when every fiber of your being wants to quit. Most people are only committed when it's convenient for them. Champions, on the other hand, commit precisely when it's inconvenient. Now we arrive at the hardest part, the part where almost everyone gives up: execution. This is the unglamorous, repetitive, and often boring work. Execution is the daily grind of doing the same fundamental things over and over again until you become extraordinarily good at them. And here is the part that destroys the undisciplined. Execution doesn't care one bit about your feelings. Are you tired? Execute. Are you stressed out? Execute. Does it feel like nobody's watching or cheering you on? Execute. Are you not seeing the results you want yet? Execute even harder. The disciplined understand a fundamental truth that most people never learn. Your feelings are not your leader. Your feelings are a passing storm. Your discipline is the lighthouse, steady and unwavering. Every single time you execute when you don't feel like it, you are building a layer of psychological armor. Your self-esteem grows because you're keeping promises to yourself. Your confidence skyrockets because you're proving, day in and day out, that you can rely on yourself. And of course, your results grow because consistency is the engine of compound growth. This brings us to the most underestimated part of the whole process: repetition. This is where the real magic happens. The discipline loop doesn't just end after one successful day or one good week. The loop is designed to repeat over and over. And with every single cycle, you engrave a new identity deeper into your mind. I am someone who finishes what they start. I am someone who always shows up. I am someone who follows through no matter what. This shift in identity is the hidden fuel of all high performance. When you genuinely identify as a disciplined person, your behavior naturally follows suit. You no longer need to search for motivation. You don't have to hype yourself up in the mirror. You simply act in alignment with the person you believe you are. This is why the loop is so incredibly powerful. It transforms discipline from a difficult task into a lifestyle. It turns consistency from a chore into a core habit. It turns excellence from something you chase into something you simply embody. Let me be clear about why people fail. It's almost never because the goal is too big or too difficult. People fail because they step out of the loop. They break the cycle. They waver on their decision. Their commitment fades. They negotiate with their execution. They stop repeating the process. And they fall right back into the world of inconsistency, where dreams remain just dreams, where any progress they made is temporary, and where results vanish as quickly as they appeared. But the disciplined? They stay in the loop. They keep going. When things get tough, they refine their approach, they adjust their strategy, and they evolve. And because they repeat that cycle long enough, success becomes inevitable. It's not about luck. It's not about raw talent. It's because discipline, like money in a high-interest account, compounds over time. Here is the secret that most people never realize. You don't need the perfect plan to get started. You don't need to wait for the perfect timing. You don't need some special, God-given talent. You don't even need support or validation from others. You truly only need one thing: the ability to stay in the loop longer than anyone else is willing to. When you show up consistently for 30 days, you're already outperforming the average person. When you show up for 6 months, you'll start to outperform your peers. When you show up for 2 years straight, you begin to separate yourself from the entire pack. After 5 years of staying in the loop, you shift into an entirely new category of human being, and if you stay disciplined for a decade, you become unstoppable. You become the person that others study. You become someone that people admire, maybe even fear, or look to for guidance. And it all started because you made a simple choice to live inside the loop. So here's your challenge. Pick one goal. Just one. Make a real, unbreakable decision about it. Commit to the process without conditions or excuses. Execute the necessary actions without negotiation, and then repeat. Repeat without pausing. The world doesn't reward the most hopeful or the most talented. It rewards the most disciplined. Stay in the loop long enough, and victory is no longer a fantasy. It becomes your default reality. Repeat until you win. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe and join our community of builders. See you in the next one.